you have to know how writing occurs. And if your writing is very good, more likely than not, your listening will also be good. You'll be able to track the answers to the questions. You will be able to track the route or the format of the comprehension passage and follow the thinking of the writer to be able to answer your questions. The most basic question in the comprehension passage, as I stated some time ago, is simply what is the passage about, you know. So in your head, as you read the passage, comprehension passage, ask yourself what is the passage about? And how is the writer going about the issue? Because the issue indeed is what the passage is about. And so, how is the writer also going about the issue? Is the writer, because in the first paragraph, as I stated, the whole thing is about the introduction. So within the introduction, you should be able to identify the issue that is going to be discussed. You should be able to identify what the writer is going to write about. You know, but I wrote an essay today. Yesterday, I wrote an article, and I started off with a question. The question was what we Ghanaians, because I come from Ghana, what we Ghanaians consider to be our cultural values, you know. So in the introduction, I was asking what we mean by the Ghanaian cultural values, you know. So all at once, by that question, what do we mean by the Ghanaian cultural values? In that sentence, you should be able to know at once what I'm going to write about, and that is our cultural values. And what am I going to say about the cultural values? That's the next point which you have to track. And you do that by following the course, the routes of the writer. That's what I call it. How the writer is developing his or her argument. Is he going to say something commonplace that the culture is good and is so valuable? Or is he going to list the cultural norms? Or is he going to criticize the culture? Or is he going to say that even there is no culture in the country at all? And that cultural value, so-called cultural values, are some of the things that we just say which we don't think too much about. And the last point was what I was going to write about. Now, in the subsequent paragraphs, for each paragraph, you will have to follow the writer's arguments and how he is going to develop the topic and then make meaning out of whatever he wants to say. And with you, I have stated over and over again that the simple format for the writing of any essay is to state the claim, to discuss the claim, and then to provide evidence or examples. You know, so if you take it that way, for each paragraph, you will have a format to develop the paragraph, because you first talk about the topic sentence, which is probably the claim, and then you go on to develop follow that with the discussion of the evidence. You follow that with a discussion of the claim, and then you come to your examples. So within the introduction, you have the issue, And if it is an argumentative essay, of course, you have to look at the other side of the fence to see what other people have stated about the issue. And then it is going to be easier for you to counter and then proceed with whatever you have to say. But if it is ordinarily an expository essay, which is just what they also call issue essay, you're going to be able to develop your points straight away. Each paragraph, you have a point, a claim, you have a discussion, then you have examples. Each paragraph, you have a claim, you have a discussion, then you have examples. So that is when you are writing the essay. But when you are reading the essay, the pattern is also the same, essentially, because there you're going to look at the claim, look at the explanation, what each paragraph is trying to point out, and then you come to the conclusion. The conclusion may be a summation of your points above, which is quite regular, or it may well be a catchy statement, or it may well be something that is just trying to repeat some of the re-emphasize some of the points that you have made. And so today, if we get the time, if there is enough time, 2 hours is a long time, but not too long. If we get the time, we can also take a look at some of the essays, the comprehension questions. Then we can also attempt to answer those questions based on the pattern that I'm trying to review with you. Yeah. But today, as I said, I want to discuss a very minor area. You may have a couple of questions coming from that area. That's figures of speech. But those minor questions, they help a lot, because sometimes if the marking, the passing score is 70%, sometimes you can get to 68 and still fail. And you fail because you did not pay attention to the minor questions, minor areas. And those areas, if you had been able to answer the 2 or 3 questions from those areas, you would have gone past the passing score. So we are not leaving anything to chance. Rather, we're going to take a very small amount of time to talk about the figures of speech, so that when you get to see a question in those areas, you will be able to answer, because it's more like a bonus if you know what you are doing. The first figure of speech, as people normally know, is the metaphor. Metaphor is METAPHOR, metaphor. So in a metaphor, which we're going to discuss with another figure of speech, simile, because they are related. See, with a metaphor, you are comparing. It's a type of comparison, but in metaphor, you are saying something is something, or to put it in a mathematical form, A is equal to B. Something where A is, let's say, a human being, and B is, let's say, an animal or something else. So you are saying A, the human being, is equal to B, the animal. In order to invest in the A, that is in the human being, the quality of B, or the quality of the animals. So let's say that we say the man is a lion of the tribe. The man is the lion of the tribe. So here we say the man, but we don't mean that he's the lion roaming about in the forest and roaring, but rather we look at the bee, which is the lion, and think of what a lion does. We know that a lion is strong. We know that a lion is courageous. We know that a lion is fearsome. We know that a lion is awesome. We know that a lion is protective of the pride, the family. So we say the man is a lion. That statement is a metaphor because we are comparing the man to something else. It could be an animate or inanimate object in order to describe the man and to invest in his qualities, whatever he's being compared with. So the man is a mountain. So all of a sudden, we are looking at the bee, which is the mountain, and asking ourselves, what are the qualities of a mountain? Maybe it may be huge, or it may be stable, firm on the ground. It may be high, it may be tall, it may be stubborn, affixed at one place. So we say the man is a lion. We say the man is a mountain. Not that he is physically a mountain, but we are attributing the qualities or the features of a mountain to him as a form of description. So you may not encounter any of the questions you will see may not have that kind of simplistic equation. But for a metaphor, look for a comparison. But the comparison is trying to invest in the thing being compared, the quality of the thing that we are comparing the thing with. And I mean that we can say he was the cat. He was the cat. Maybe sleek, dexterous, ambidextrous, or even a thief, something like that. Because in my culture, we think that cats are thieves. Or we can compare in a more complicated thing. In a more complicated way, we can make a lot of comparisons, citing citing one animate thing with and saying that that thing is this, just in order to describe the quality in the first animate thing. So this is the basic understanding of metaphor. And when you know that, keep in mind that it's the most frequently occurring figure of speech in life and in exams too. And I would like to use the basis for the metaphor, description of the metaphor, to discuss simile. SIMILE. Simile is just also a comparison, but we use terms like LIKE, as. You see, and like, as, similar to. You see, all that is trying to compare one thing with the other. But what is going on here is that we are not saying that the man is a mountain, or the man is a lion, or the man is this or that. We are just saying that The man is like a mountain. The man is like a mouse. The man is like a cat. The man is like a lion. So the like, L-I-K-E, is the differentiation feature between the metaphor and the simile. So when you look out for the figure of speech between metaphor and simile, you are looking for words like, where the comparison is not saying that the one thing is this, but it's saying that one thing is like. See, as white as snow, that's where it's also another form of metaphor. Here, you are saying that the metaphor, if you say the man is a lion, it's a metaphor. But if you say the man is like a lion, then you have transposed the whole thing into a simile, you know. So that is all that I would need you to know. So when you are, even if if the expression is similar, he's similar to this or that, he's similar to a lion, it is the same as saying he's like a lion, really. So there are several forms of conjunctive phrases or conjunctions that will can be used to describe simile, and that is if you understand the basic idea that the comparison uses phrase or words like that denotes similarities or likeness, then you can understand that as a simile and then get it right. So that's the basic form. But more likely than not, we can come to that again. And in this case, when you look at the question, what you will realize is that the questions are more convoluted, meaning that they are more complex. But when we encounter them and explain them, you see that the basic is the same. The basics is the same, and that you are going to, if you practice sample questions, it should help you to know that, to understand that. The next question, the next figure of speech is personification. Personification, and in personification, PERSONIFICATION, we are simply investing human qualities into inanimate or inanimate objects, non-human things. We are saying that we are using human attributes, uniquely human attributes for animate or inanimate objects. When we use human pronouns like she for ships, or she or he for our pets, we are personifying those things. So personification is where we make those non-animal things human. We humanize non-human things. We make the non-human things human. We humanize the non-human thing. If we say that the sheep spoke to me, the sheep or the goat spoke to me, spoke words of wisdom to me. At least from the human standpoint, a goat cannot speak. And so when the expression is the goat spoke to me, or even the clouds ordered me to do something, the clouds danced across the field. You know that the clouds, human beings, only see human beings dance. I don't know whether an animal scampering about like a monkey is dancing, but we can preserve the dance culture to humans and say that if we say something is dancing, then that means that we are saying the thing is behaving like a human being. And as long as we are humanizing the thing, we are making a statement about personification. We are using the figure of speech of personification. We also say that we can also think about even the things we love, our pets. The pet gave me a smile. The pet smiled at me. There are a lot of questions about whether non-human things like animals, they have emotions, but I can tell you that at least we know when they are happy and when they are sorrowful. But in actual sense of smile, there is a belief that monkeys smile, but sometimes their grimace is what comes across as a smile. In any case, let's preserve smile for humans. And when we say the dog smiled, then we are using personification. So all that you need to do at this point is that when we talk about personification, we are just simply humanizing non-human things. The expression, so look for the expression trying to attribute to non-human things, human qualities, human actions, and human thinking, and experience. So that is personification, and it is the name itself is suggestive of its meaning. So keep that in mind. The next thing is apostrophe. Apostrophe is just APOSTROPHE with the accent mark on top of the E. Now we know that apostrophe is a kind of punctuation mark. Apostrophe is a kind of punctuation mark. It may show possession, or it may show ownership. But here, in most of the in figure of speech, when we say apostrophe, it means that where in most poems, for example, you see that the person may be addressing the sea, or he may be addressing non-human objects, or he may be speaking directly to the atmosphere. And it begins with exclamation. It's like, "Oh, sea, why have you drowned our friends?" For example, it's very poetic and also emotional. It may address a dead person. So that address of a speaker to non-human things, to maybe to dead people, or to all those elements, they are apostrophe. So a speech given to the elements, the speech given to the sea, speech where you address the speech to the elements, to the atmosphere, to the table, or whatever, So in what we call soliloquy, soliloquy, SOLILOQUY. Let's check the pronunciation here. Let's see.
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy. So the last syllable goes qui. Soliloquy. Let's listen to it again.
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy. In soliloquy, for example, you see people speaking to themselves and addressing things around them. Maybe a table, maybe a departed brother or sister or spouse. When you catch that trend, you should know that the person is using what you call apostrophe. And the next figure of speech, you may call it a literary device. It doesn't matter. It's an anaphora. Anaphora. It is ANEPHORA. Anaphora. Anaphora simply is a repetition. It's a repetition. You know, if you repeat the stem, like the boys spoke, the boys wrote, the boys danced, the boys drank, in the writing, that writing style is using repetition at the stem, and that is anaphora. And you are bound to see it more likely because in my review of past questions, I've come across that. Yeah. So he spoke, he wrote, he drank, he did this, and you will see that in a rhythmic form, you will see that the writer is repeating the sentence stem and going on and going on. It is an invocation of emotions if you do that, and it brings the life to the writing itself. So remember, anaphora, that's the meaning. You can write repetition. Then you also have alliteration. 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 Over here, there is a form of repetition, but here it is the sound that is repeated at the initial. So you have a series of words, but the beginning of the words have the same sound. So let's say shall, he shall, or not he shall, she shall show shyness in a she shall show shyness in shining shoes. I made this one up. So here you see that the initial sounds are the same. She shall show shyness in shining shoes. No. So when in poems or in writing, we have that kind of thing happening all the time, just for rhythm and melody. So when sometimes my name is alliterative itself, Samuel Safo says so. So here the initial sound is S. Sometimes I see first letters of the alphabet initiating the words, that follow. They are the same words, the same sounds, the same sounds. So when you see that, you have to know that alliteration is at work here. Samuel Safu says so. Here, all the initial words are s, up to at the end. So that is also something which you can remember. So we have spoken about metaphor, simile, personification, alliteration, anaphora, and what else? Let's talk about hyperbole. Hyperbole. Hyperbole is just exaggeration. Put that in front of the word. Hyperbole is just exaggeration, in the sense that we can we can say that he made a million mistakes. Yeah, we don't literally mean that the person has made 1 million, 1, 2, 3, up to million mistakes. But we are just exaggerating. So we are just exaggerating. So there, the figure of speech being used is what we call hyperbole. So he spoke hyperbolically. It's just using the word in the context of ordinary speech to show exaggeration. But it is also a metaphor. It's also hyperbole. It's also exaggeration. For example, he spoke for 1,000 years, about something. Now, the 1,000 years, the time is an exaggeration, obviously. So that is where you also catch the correct answer. See, it rained cats and dogs. It rained cats and dogs. It's not that literally cats and dogs fell out of the sky, but we're just saying that it rained a lot, and thanks a million. Or your actions were apocalyptic. It's an exaggeration. Apocalyptic, signaling the end of the world. The volcanic eruption was apocalyptic. So there are various ways in which we exaggerate, and when we see an expression making use of extreme form of exaggeration, we call it hyperbole. So that is something which you have to remember too. The last one is euphemism. 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 Now, euphemism is putting it too politely. The person is dead, but instead of saying that he is dead, we can say he passed on, or we can say he went home, or we can say he ended his work on earth, or we can say he departed to the ancestors. Any of these forms of expressions is a euphemism. It's a polite way. It's diplomatic language. The expression is actually when the ordinary man dies, we say that he's been killed, and when the politician dies, is killed, we say he was assassinated. I think that is also a form of politeness or respect, showing not to be too crude about what has happened. So when that kind of speech occurs, it's a form of euphemism. So euphemism just writes polite language, understatement, So you can learn it together with hyperbole. Whereas hyperbole is exaggeration, euphemism is an understatement of politeness. So I'll leave the figures of speech here at this point. And as I have stated, it's a form of it is also a form of knowledge which you should put in your inventory. They don't normally come in their numbers, but when they come, in the exams, you should be able to identify them, and then you should be able to have the correct answer to them. So, and in ordinary life too, when you are writing, you may want to apply the knowledge in figures of speech to also embellish. When we say embellish, that's decorate, and embellish your language or endow it with more quality or more excitement. That is why whatever we talk about here is interrelated, you know. Insofar as you have a transfer of knowledge from one area of English to the next, you know. Yeah. So at this point, we are going to take a very small break, probably 10 minutes break. And when we come back, we will go to some of the past questions, sample questions. We will answer about 20 of them and see how well we do in answering the questions. Thank you.